With the introduction of the stunningly beautiful coral reefs, most of us have wanted to bring some of this beauty home with us. Others, like my friend Anne Daisy, have actually built homes underwater so that they could see the coral reefs. I've taken a different view in that I want to build aquariums and bring them home so that every single day I can admire them, but I don't have to live underwater. So let me show you how to build an aquarium. It's basically a glass tank, but there are one or two tips and tricks that I think will help you greatly in this endeavour. The first thing you have to decide is where you're going to build your aquarium. And the first tip I will give you is it does not have to have natural light. This means that you can put it under other parts of your build should you so wish. But when it comes to building it, I've found out that coral will grow on practically anything. And that's actually like true life. If you have shipwrecks, wooden barrels, all sorts of debris under the sea, coral will grow on at given time if it's in the right place. Now for that you will need seawater. You will see that in my hand I have a bucket. That is to collect a bucket of seawater, and the good news is once you have one bucket of seawater it will form a well, just as normal water will, on one enclosed block, so that you only really need one bucket of seawater. You will note that on my bar I also have a hammer and a chisel, and this is because I want to get certain coral blocks out. So now obviously the first issue you have is, can you find a coral reef? And if you haven't found one yet, what do they look like? Let's go and have a look and I will show you. This is the first coral reef I found. As you can see, it's in a warm climate. We are at 42 degrees. I have found other coral reefs. Let me show you this one. We have to go underwater. I have given myself a little bit more breathing space than most people. This is what the coral reef looks like underwater, but where I first saw it was when I was on the shore here. I was coming over to here, and this is what it looked like from the shore. And I suddenly saw this and thought, oh my gosh, it's a coral reef. So there are certain aspects to this that I like. It grows on sand. This is claystone sand. There are loads and loads of different corals. There are coral ledges. There are these beautiful blue corals. You've got these tube-like corals. You've got branch corals. But the other thing to recognize is that not all corals grow on a horizontal surface. This coral, this beautiful soft coral red, grows on a vertical surface, as does the sea ribbons, and this grows on a flat surface. But the other thing we also have are barnacles. I'm trying to find some barnacles. Here we are, look at this. These are barnacles, and they are fantastic. There's a problem at the moment with harvesting the barnacles and the beautiful blue ribbons I showed you, and also the soft corals. We used to be able to harvest them, but we can no longer since the 1.21.6 release candidate 1 update. I have reported this to the devs, and I'm hoping this will be solved so that we can harvest the vertical corals. You will see that these chunks of coral are only fresh for 24 hours. So these basically have been destroyed by my trying to get the barnacles, which is not ideal. If you want to get these beautiful, beautiful blocks, this is green, this is blue, they come in different colours, there's red, there's tan, there's all sorts of different colours, yellow. So what you have to do is to chisel these blocks chisel that one, and then you take this, okay, and once it's a chiseled block, okay, you will see it has no limit on time. This one is fresh for 24 hours. This one is a stone block. It will survive out of water. Okay. You can't harvest coral with stone tools. You have to have at least a copper tool. And if you do happen to pick up some of these corals, this is absolutely beautiful. Let's take this one. They're quite hard substances. This is where you really need to be prepared to work quickly. This is only fresh for 24 hours. So that's not ideal. The other thing I would say is that where you find one coral reef, you are quite likely to find a second one. Let me show you round the corner here. The second coral reef I found was round the corner here. And the other thing you will find with coral reefs are beautiful, beautiful fishes. And this one was on a much, much more vertical space. And can you see we have barnacles here? And this is so beautiful. And here you will see that you've got brown, green, tan, green again, all these different colours are here. Different corals have different time spans. For example, these chunks of coral are fresh for 24 hours. This one's fresh for 24 hours. This one's only fresh for 24 hours. This one is fresh for 3 days. This one is 3 days. So they do have different time scales, but you do need to work quickly. And obviously what we do need to do is to take a bucket of water from here, and when you look at it, you will see that it says 10 litres of seawater. Okay, let's get back home now that we've done some harvesting. Obviously, the amount you're going to harvest is going to depend on the size of your aquarium, and what you harvest will depend on your taste. But the more what you harvest will depend on your taste. And remember that some of these corals may actually go on the one block. So you may be able to get more than one coral on a block. Okay, so how do I deal with the fact that I am in the middle of building an aquarium, but I need to keep these corals alive? Pretty simple. I have coral holding pens, for want of a better word. And you can see that out here, I've just been putting down blocks like this. And we will put down, how many do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, and some more. So we'll put down a big holding pen. Okay. And then, as I said, this creates a well. And coral will grow on anything, so we can just pop these down. I will take actually an extra bucket of water while I'm here. So we have the beautiful red coral. We have this brain coral, looks amazing. And in fact, when it's in water, it does resemble a brain. This beautiful striped anemone. And remember to be careful that some of them may take up more than one block. And this orange bit here, that one. This is what we're aiming for. I built this one because this is a cooler area and this whole area gets covered in snow, and I wanted to know whether an aquarium would freeze in the winter. It doesn't. And you will see that I've got glass at the bottom, but there is chiseled glass That's why it looks so see-through. You can see that I've got barnacles on the wall and coral on here, and also I can put lights in there. You can also put shells in there. And if you look at this block, you can see there's 2 corals there and there's 2 corals there. So I am in the process of building an aquarium, and over here this is going to be my aquarium. I've got glass around the walls. Now, one of the things I did try was whether the chiseled sand would hold coral, and it will. This block under here is actually chiseled sand because this is suspended over nothing, so I didn't want sand blocks falling down all over the place. The other thing is, if you harvest barnacles, and at the moment in 1.21.6, if you try to harvest them, they just disappear. So don't wait till this is updated. But they will survive a long time out of water, so those aren't too time sensitive. And I want to put this block over here. I am using a combination of rock and sand as the base for this, just to give it that look beforehand. So once you've decided where your aquarium is, you will need a lot of glass, and I have been boiling it up obviously in bloomeries. I'm not sure that boiling it up is the right, smelting it. I have been smelting quartz in bloomeries to produce a lot of glass. So let's go and get our glass out of our bloomeries. The other thing you will need is the sand of your choice if you want to use sand, or the block of your choice if you want to put it on blocks. Now, I happen to be using limestone sand because it matches the rest of my build. You will note that I've got this wattle and daub is based on limestone, and you'll see that in certain places I've got limestone walls. However, the sand in this aquarium is really beautiful. It's sandstone sand, and it's just got that slightly warmer look, which is absolutely gorgeous. Right, let's go downstairs. Okay, and let's get my walls complete here. Now you'll notice that I have got 3 layers of water here, and this is quite a big aquarium. So what I really want to do, I'm walking around the edge here, is to do this in layers, and the hardest layers when you're coming into water are going to be the top 2 layers. The bottom one is easy. What I'm going to do is to fill the aquarium with soil and then work down as far as the layers go. So let's do that first, and my access to the aquarium is going to be from above. So let's just go up and go down through the floor. You'll probably need ladders for this as well. Okay, and now I'm going to fill it with earth. I've already got the shape I want with the corals, so it should be okay. Okay, I have taken out the roof here to make my life easier to fill this in, and I'm just going to, that's it, using it as a well. That's it. I'm being very careful here to try to make sure that I get every block. And I am underwater. Right, I am on to the second layer. You can see that I've got loads of bubbles. I'm having problems in placing water here and in this corner. So I'm just going to try again to get this block sorted out. Yeah. It doesn't like that block. There is absolutely nothing that would indicate why these particular blocks are causing me a problem. I can see that they are, but there's no reason they should do. I know sometimes you just have to spam, but it's not going away, and I'm going to live with it. I've decided to take a pragmatic approach and to actually put a coral there. Yay! And then I've got yellow, red, and this beautiful blue, green, gorgeous colours. There we go. There were certain blocks that I could not sort out, and they have actually determined some of our layout here. So we now have a complete aquarium. I'm going to leave the lid off for the time being while I put some of my corals in. Now comes the absolute fun part, which is going to be putting these beautiful things. Oh, look at that brain coral. That striped anemone is just gorgeous. I am pressing shift to place these. We've got some blue here, branch coral. Oh, lovely. And this gorgeous purple. Look at that. Now I've got some others. I've got red, tube coral, and this. Okay. So we've got a nice red here. That will go there. Nice. Tube coral is little. Got this tan. Nice. And this really pretty fang coral. Oh, what a glorious colour. Now, I don't have many corals, so we have the absolutely wonderful task of going back to collect more corals. How good is that? Oh, whoa, 23 hours. No, 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 let's not kill our sponges. Now this, I believe, will go on top of a block. It will, and can you see I've got the barnacles here, and this will go in front of them, so they don't seem to be occupying the same space. Right, let's go back and get some more coral. How fantastic. Right, what I find useful about most coral reefs is that they are actually close to land. They tend to be in the shallower waters, so you can actually breathe from time to time, which is essential. Now I want to see if I can get some of these vertical corals. Yeah, they're not picking up. There is something wrong in 1.21.6 that the vertical corals are not picking up. Okay, let's try to get these two. Did I get both of them? No, I did not. Interesting. Okay. We could have some of this seagrass. Can we pick that up? We cannot. That just disappears. Wonderful. Okay, so basically we are limited to fairly substantial corals here. Yeah, the seagrass does not pick up. Ooh. It's a nice large coral. Now this goes on the side. Ooh, what have I got there? I've got the tube coral. Yes, anything vertical is not picking up in these areas. Okay, let's take what we can. The fan corals will pick up. Ooh, look at that. Tube coral pink. Wow. Right, let's go and make our place look gorgeous. Oh my word. What a look. The size of the corals is very much similar to lupins. When you place lupins, where you place them will determine on whether they're single or double or large or small. And I found out that corals are the same, that I can have an anemone that looks quite low and flat in one place, whereas in another it will look like the one I've just placed and look really huge and gorgeous. And that applies to more than one type of coral. The anemones in particular are very much subject to position when it comes to their size. What hell? I'm going to have to go back for some more coral. Wow, I love coral reefs, so this is an absolute joy. Right, here I am with my latest haul of goodies. Now I'm very interested in these coral ledges because I think these are going to go on the sides. Oh my word, they are. They're quite big. Oh my, and I had a blue one. Look at that. So that could go. Oh, they are big, aren't they? They're quite huge actually. I'll take that one off. We might put that elsewhere like that. Oh yes, that looks better. Yeah. It's funny, that one looks a lot smaller. And we've got this wonderful brain coral. Ooh, we've got... That is the striped anemone. That's a green one. This striped anemone doesn't look good there. That is the striped anemone. It is. It should look bigger and better than that. So let's... Yeah, see, that's much better. These depend on placing. Oh, that's nice and bright. And we've got this gorgeous colour blue here. I don't know if we've got that one. Nice, that's an aquamarine blue. We've got a red vase sponge. Oh, yes. Some nice coloured... These. Will they go on the same thing? No, they will have to go on a different block. Yes. I need a... Just stand here and catch our breath for a minute. This is looking great. It really is. Oh, what a nice colour that orange is. Now we've got some more of the tan shelf corals. They won't go on the side there, will they? No, they won't. Will they go on... Oh, they will. That looks great. Okay, let's put one... This is a nice colour, these colours. It's a shame they don't go on the side. That's a nice place for them. Okay, and then we've got this grey one, I think. Oh my word, that's enormous. Let's put that... Let's take... Yeah. we need a lot of room for this one, because it will give a lot of height to the build. So yeah, and then that lovely little sea lace. No. Oh, it's too deep for it. I hadn't considered that. It is too deep. This came from a seawater area. Why can't I place it? How odd. Okay. And we've got one more of these coral ledges. Are they as big as that one? If they're small, that's nice. But how does that look? Yeah, that looks all right, actually. Look at that. That's starting to give the impression of a coral reef. Oh, I have so many. Okay, so we have the almost finished product. I'm leaving myself room to gather more as I discover more coral reefs. So this is actually going to be my dressing room, and we are going to be, oops, I don't want to go, I've left myself a hole to put more things in. So this is what it looks like from above, and you can see we've got little lights in it. The other thing we could put in is shells, though I don't want to at the moment. But if we look at it from inside, you can see, oh, already from here it's looking absolutely fabulous. We can see the different things there, and we do have some bubbles. That's interesting. I need to sort that out. Where are those bubbles? It is over there, isn't it? Yeah, it's where I took that shelf coral out. That is definitely an issue over there. We're going to have to find another coral that goes on the side. But apart from that one spot that's come back, I know exactly where that is. This looks fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. This looks as if it's coming through the glass. I have chiseled all the glass. There's a little bit I can't get to chisel. I will probably have to go into the aquarium for that corner over there. But doesn't that look absolutely splendid? It just looks like you could just walk into it. You can't, of course, because it is glassed in. But doesn't that look beautiful? And I think when the glass is chiseled, it really, really shows off the colours so much better. And the shapes and the forms, it looks wonderful. I'm just thrilled with the whole thing. I'm also learning the different range of what we've got. You know, we've got anemones that are green in different sizes depending on where you put them. There's another block there I can't get at. I'll have to take that table out. But also I've discovered there are striped anemones, there are spotted anemones, you know, and it all looks fabulous. I can see we're going to spend hours rearranging and rearranging until it looks fantastic. The little lights add a lot at night, and it looks, I think, pretty nice. From above, it's a weird feeling in my dressing room. Let's go up there and I will show you, because it looks as if you're just walking on water. It's great fun. So we come over here and it just looks as if you're about to fall through. You can there because I have left a hole. But I think that looks splendid and is a wonderful idea. So I hope you have learnt some tricks and tips, and I hope that you find coral reefs and that you manage to make yourself an aquarium in a place that will suit you and that will be just as lovely as this one. So if you've enjoyed this, leave a like, consider subscribing to me. Goodbye, my friends.